Good morning, traders. Today is the 15th of August. This is Brad Matheny. Pretty darn early in the morning, 4:30 in the morning out here in California. Today we're looking at a carryover in counter trend with my SPY cycle patterns. We are still in early accumulation on the short-term trend and bearish on the long-term trend, explosive price action, and bullish on the daily bias and bearish on the weekly bias. Now, the counter trend carryover mode, a carryover is kind of like the same as the previous bar. So think of it as like I tried to explain yesterday, it's just like a coasting of whatever the previous trend was and the previous day was. So if we were in a rally, 111 and a previous breakaway, today is going to be, kind of think of it as a more moderate version of a breakaway or rally bar, but it is going to be in counter trend mode, meaning that it's going to be the opposite direction of what we had over the previous 2 or 3 days. So, generally, what I would suggest we're looking at here on the SPY, this is the daily SPY chart. I will eliminate that and eliminate that and eliminate that. Generally, what we're looking for here, if we go down to a 10-minute, today we would be looking for a move that may open higher. We may get a move. Yeah, look at this. All kinds of morning messages. Love my computer. We may get a move that opens a little bit higher, but we're generally going to probably waffle downward. So here's yesterday. Here's the opening price yesterday. Here's the high price yesterday. We're probably going to get a move that opens up in this area and kind of waffles down into yesterday's kind of range. So understand that that's a good example of a counter trend mode. Now, we could see it move all the way down into the 540 area. That was the lows yesterday. We could honestly attempt to see it move down here into the 537 area on a deeper pullback, a kind of retracing of all of this big gapping move. So remember, if we do see it move down to the 537 area, we're going to be looking to try to hold above this gap area right here. And that would be very critical in terms of upward trending. So, again, I am really kind of looking for this area, the 540 area, to hold up. And then if it cannot hold up, then I would be looking for this 536, 537 area to hold up. And I'm really not 100% confident that we're going to even get there. So on a moderate pullback here, the 541 or 540 and a half, that area right up in this area would probably be the most logical area for price to try to find some support. On a moderate pullback day, which we have today, I don't see any real reason to expect downward trending, but I mean, extreme downward trending, but we'll see how it plays out. Okay. I mean, we've gotten a couple of days here. We've got we're now on Thursday. So we have here was Tuesday. This was Wednesday. Now we're into Thursday. I do believe we're just going to see a low down around 540, 541, retesting yesterday's support down here in this area and trying to hold up. If we break below that, yeah, then maybe moving down here to 537. But I really think that's probably less than a 20 or 30% chance right now. Okay, let's take a look at the QQQs. Basically the same thing. So we are going to be looking at a downward trend. You can see we're at 464.63 right now, a little bit higher up in this area, which is yesterday's peak. So assuming we open in this area, we would be again looking for a moderate pullback. I'll redraw this. This is green. In fact, let me change this to blue and get rid of it. Start over. Start in this area, waffling around, possibly coming down to yesterday's lows before ending the day, maybe coming down into this 456, 457 area, trying to find support. But in reality, folks, I think this level here, which is our rejection area from yesterday, which is actually just a little bit higher right there, is going to be playing out very confidently today. I think that's going to be our low, roughly 459 and a half on the Qs. And I think that's going to be our low. I think that's going to be our defense level. And remember, I think the markets really do want to go higher. So again, we are going to be watching for a pullback. It's going to be essentially a pause day, a quiet sideways kind of a pause in price before we attempt to move higher. Now let's take a look at gold. Gold is moving back up, almost back up to 2,500. Wow. So the pause yesterday, which I called beautifully. Remember, this was, and you can see, I'll show you here daily. And of course, I'll have to resize the screen, spread all this out. But this is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful pull and call on this chart. You remember I called this area as a bottom. I wrote that there would be a dual leg rally phase setting up. I indicated that we'd likely move back up into this area, stall. I kept drawing flags in this area. We've come right back up to this area. I drew this blue line and this light blue line as an indication of a potential flag setup. And look at what we've done. We've rolled right back down to that flag low, rolled a little bit higher. Now we're back up almost to 2,500. This could very well be a breakaway move in gold. I'm not going to call it yet because I think we've got a little bit of a pause left to go into this area right here. So I'm going to get rid of these areas, get rid of that, get rid of that, leave that line. And I'm going to tell you that I think we have to potentially get down into this area as a pause. That would give us today, Friday, and then maybe Monday. So I think maybe we slide down into this channel here, basically setting up this low before we base and roll higher. And that's probably a bad example of how to do it. But from this point, I think we move higher. That is the 19th, Monday. So I would urge you guys to be very cautious here. I think you could try to get a little excited here, but we could roll up in this channeling formation. And if you really do pay attention, to what's going on here, we had this low way down here. We had a low right over here. We had a pullback low here. We're rising up a little bit. We are really setting up another flag. Okay. This is a big flag setting up right here as long as we stay within this channel. And I want you to be aware that as long as that flag persists, remember where we're at. We're setting up a flag right at this rejection point. How odd is that? No, it's not odd. That's what price does. Price identifies rejection points and then attempts to flag to break out of it. This is indecision near this same rejection point. You can see all I got to do is slide it sideways. It comes right into the apex area. And what we would be looking at here is an A, B, C, D, E type of pattern, maybe washing out down into this area before trying to rally upward. So there you go. I think gold is going to just wash sideways for 2 or 3 more days before setting up a base and really bottoming to the upside. Yeah, we have this light blue flag. Yeah, we have this potential apexing in red. Yeah, we have this resistance area setting up as a potential apex. To me, it looks like gold wants to move sideways for another 2 or 3 days before it attempts to move higher. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin. 58,691, rolling just outside my flagging formation, setting up again right around my defense level. Probably going to attempt to roll back to the upside. We'll see how it plays out. We're definitely outside this flag level here. So this would adjust this level here, potentially down here if this level holds. And this would potentially adjust this level down a little bit. We'll see. Maybe even like this, if this is our new hold or our new high across these levels. So we will have to see how this flag sets up and what happens. We count A, B, C, D, E. This means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more days potentially before an apex. And that apex will probably result into an upside price move. So get rid of some of these and get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. And if we were to see Bitcoin roll efficiently through this cycle, it would look something like this to the upside. And now we just got to let it flag. Remember, price does only one of two things. It either trends or it flags. That's all it ever does. So we are not in trending mode. We are in flagging mode. We've got to see how this plays out. And we've got to look for this 57,942 area to act as critical support right now, which it does look like it's doing currently at the moment. Okay, let's take a look at NVIDIA. Boy, what a nice little breakout. Okay, so we have our pause day. We've gotten above this resistance area. We've had a very clean breakout, just like I suggested. Followed along right in this range, just like I suggested. Now, where are we? We're back up here at this resistance area, back right up here at this rejection. We've got an inverted hammer, a hammer formation, which is kind of like a hanging man at this point. So what we're going to expect again with NVIDIA, given the fact that I expect the markets to pause, we're going to expect again a little bit of a pullback bar, retesting and reaffirming this support before we attempt to move higher. So today's probably going to be a bit of a pullback, not much to worry about. Probably going to want to hold up above this 112, 113, call it 113 area. Probably going to want to hold up above that 113 area, which is just a guess really between this rejection point and this rejection point. That's a good solid 382 level. Again, I can draw it. So between this rejection point and this rejection, theoretically, I'm off by a little bit. So 112, that's our number. That's our 382 number. So I would suggest that 112 would be a good defense area for NVIDIA. Okay, IWM, last one. Okay, beautiful upward channel, still holding up. Could roll out of this channel today. We have this upward move, A, B, C, really tightening up, flagging. We haven't made a complete count. So we do have to move from here to basically here, up to here. And so we would be looking at kind of a flag like this, maybe a bit of a rollout. Let's go A. Well, we could come off of this deep low to here. A, B, never really made it here. A, B, C, D. All right, well, close. We could get into a washout low move. And I want you to be aware of this. If my analysis, get rid of some of these wonky lines here. If my analysis is correct, And we are nearing this flagging formation here, which I will draw in dark red. And my flag count is accurate. Given the fact that we're below this level here, given the fact that we appear to have flagged out, and again, I'll do the count for you. So you can see we have this low up to A here, up to B here. It's almost, rock solid. Up to C here, down to D here, and then up into E. We would be looking for volatility in this area down around 205, 204 and a half, trying to hold near this support level here, which would be roughly 204.50, maybe a little lower, 203.70. And what we would be looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of a washout low today, resulting in a big upward trend over the next 5, 6, 7 days. And more than likely attempting to fill this gap area right here. So it would make sense to me that as long as we hold above, call it 204, 203 and a half, 204 in this area on a washout low on IWM, I think we have a really good chance of seeing it up in 213, 214, 215 next week or the week after, really trying to fill this gap and close up the markets. And that would, of course, put the SPY back up into this area here. If we had that type of a roll on the SPY, and if we did roll downward and we did kind of move into a downward cycle trend and then roll out of it, we would be looking at 558, 559 up above this resistance area here, this blue line, by next week. A nice solid move. That's a good solid, from where we're at today, that's a good solid 2.5% to the upside. Okay, so remember, we are outside this flag at the moment on the SPY. Nothing to be concerned with. Remember, price does either one of two things. It either trends or it flags. So if we did break this flag and it never really materialized, no problem. We could be in trending mode. And if we're in trending mode, we are going to watch for a D pattern much higher. Oops. A D pattern way up, somewhere up above these recent highs. Possibly no major E pattern at all. And we are going to be looking for a pretty good move, potentially back up into maybe 579, 580 on a rally phase here, maybe even higher. So be aware that, like I said, breaking this flag is no big deal to me. It either does one of two things. It's either trending or flagging. So if it's not flagging, it's trending. And that means it wants to go. Okay, guys, we'll talk to you later.